Did we all see and love Ant-Man? And will we talk spoilers? Is Luke Cage real good? And are we going to talk about that too? And Steve Ditko. Will we give the man all the love he deserves? This is Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior to you, our merry Marvelites. We just answered the age-old question, can you stop a room mid-cold open? Yes, with a room full of nerds talking about Steve Ditko, you can. We will get to Steve Ditko at the end of the show. I want to give that man some love. He is an architect of the comic world, and we will be talking about him at the end, but his name need be mentioned all the time because he is Steve frickin' Ditko. So, love to that man. But we are the Marvel Movie News. We are coming to you live from Harlem, from Harlem's Paradise. Because, man, Season 2 really, for me, upped the game from Season 1, and I really
Place looks bigger on Netflix.
It does, and it's the you can't really see down, unfortunately. You can't really see the axe. It's a real bummer. So we are Marvel Movie News. This is episode 188. We are 12 episodes, a mere 3 months from 200, which is just crazy to me. That is a long time on the internet. And that's thanks to you guys, you cameras. You can also find us on Popcorn Talk's website, which is popcorntalknetwork.com. You can find us at youtube.com/popcorntalknetwork. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at the Popcorn Talk. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Marvel News Show. Follow us, like us, and if you retweet a link whilst we are live, and Anthony in the booth will retweet you.
Spider-Man Noir. That's all I gotta say. I am so looking forward to it. Oh my god, Rage Cage.
Definitely a highlight of this week's show to be talked about. And first, before we get into any news, our special guest, Mr. Jovenshire.
You special, such a strong word. I prefer guest,
our
but
guest
very glad to be here.
especial.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love the show, and it's always exciting when I actually get to come on here and talk about some Marvel movie news and all things Marvel. It's just great. I'm glad to be here.
You and I did a show a long time ago about comic couples that were toxic. So that was a
Uh,
lot of fun, and that was both sides of the Marvel DC.
It was just kind of like all mixing together in a fun little amalgam of greatness.
Yeah, so we've been trying to scheme something, and then now
There it
Jovenshire's
is.
here today.
There it
Where can they
is.
find you on the internet, sir?
Just at the Jovenshire on Twitter and on Instagram and on youtube.com/the Jovenshire. I cover all things movie news, geek news, video game news, just anything geek culture all in one spot. It's fun.
I like it. I respect it. Miss
Thank you
Amy.
very much.
Yes. Hi, that is me. I am Amy Cassandra Martinez. You guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ, and I am in the chat, so join us.
And as always, the ever-lovely, ever-effervescent Markia McCarty.
That's me. At Markia McCarty, MARKEIAMCCARTY.
Because we gotta!
Dark Horse Comics.
That's a comic, not Marvel, but still good.
Dark Horse Comic. I got you.
No. Because it's like the way that he did it, I was like, Jim Carrey.
Branding.
It's funny because we saw each other randomly at a Deadpool 2 karaoke, and then we're like, we should be on a show together. And it's happened.
And I didn't know that
has.
fact, and then the universe just conspired.
It happens. It's just this is a fateful, wonderful happening.
And this
of
all just
things.
came together in the last like
Just
48
did.
hours.
It literally did.
That was the same place where I first met Lewis, and we did a duet
Amazing
for
con.
karaoke, and I'm going to get Josh on 10 Candles.
Yes.
Doing it. Gonna
Because
happen.
Max and Hinky's already done it.
Making it so.
There it is.
Making it so. So this episode is my 150th episode ever, which is why I'm wearing this jacket. I figured it'd be formal for
And because you look
the
good in it.
150 and to honor Steve Ditko. It felt like thank you. 150 is a long time. It's 3 years of doing this show. Or actually, I've been doing it for 4. Good God. It'd be 3 years straight if I was here every week. So, and also for Steve Ditko, I wanted to like his one of his big creations was of course Spider-Man. If I had a Doctor Strange jacket, I would sew them together. No, I wouldn't. I love them both separately.
You should get a Doctor Strange jacket,
No,
though,
I
just
need to, like, now that
to
I've
like have it because
discussed
that's
it.
gonna be great.
I feel like Matt Key's got like 7. I should
Well,
know.
yeah, he does.
You think that he
You could
does?
probably steal
Yeah.
one from him and he won't know.
But he's
I like
big.
socks to match.
I could wear it over this jacket.
Be like a
because he's
kid
not-
wearing his dad's jacket for the first time. Like, I love Marvel!
Hi guys. Speaking of Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp was real good.
It was.
We're going to dive into spoilers on this review because non-spoilers have been done. We had a non-spoiler review right after, and then a non-spoiler review was done last week, I believe.
Yes, absolutely.
So
We
this
did that
week-
with B. Dave Walters and Josh Evans.
And you guys touched on like tone and stuff without diving into the end,
Yes,
I believe.
we kept it extremely spoiler-free, so this can be spoiler-full.
So, internet, spoilers are coming! Okay, good, you've been warned.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That's why we can't secure
Yeah.
a submarine. So I was very impressed with spoiler lighting.
There we go.
Thanos
I heard an alarm and I
spoilers.
saw a light go on. You guys have fun. I know this is time to run.
I've seen enough Walking
Yep.
Dead, etc.
Okay, I like that he's gonna survive any
Yep.
horror movie.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll
Not,
still
I
be
know.
here. That's fine.
I loved that Ant-Man and the Wasp both escalated from the first one, but felt like the same corner of the universe. Like Guardians and Ant-Man both feel like their own little section of Marvel, and this one was the first time that I felt like it was like going to a comic store, picking up your favorite individual title that's taking place during a big event, where like the last page will reference the big event, but it still feels like your comic.
That's a good reference.
And
That's
I
a good
really,
point.
it felt like going through a roller rack. You know, like this is happening, but this is isolated. So it didn't feel like it was ignoring Infinity War, but it didn't make us like dragged down by it. So I really enjoyed the tone. I also thought it still felt like a Paul Rudd comedy, but it was a lot bigger. The movie itself, I mean, ironic for Ant-Man, was a lot bigger in scope and tone.
More like giant man.
It was a giant-sized Ant-Man.
Was it a Goliath project?
Goliath in scope. So I loved the comedy. I loved the action.
Oh, we're gonna need that a lot today.
Yeah, German Giants.
And
And by the way, Ant Manthony is our producer, and that means an ant is playing those drums. A la Ant-Man!
Yay!
That's
We got layers, guys. We got layers.
Yeah, we just got a post-credit scene at the beginning of
in
the show.
this moment. I love
We're
the
having fun.
soundboard today.
We're having fun.
Everyone's excited.
I always wanted to be on a morning radio show,
Well,
so this is great.
That is
Welcome.
what this is big.
And to conclude my overall thoughts, I really appreciated that the movie ended with a gravitas. Like, you felt sucker punched all over again.
We are gonna disagree on that.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so me personally, I was like, ha ha, ho, Ant-Man, oh. And then the final credit scene, just the like the level of haunting that left me with was not what I expected. And I had just enjoyed lots of crazy kinetic action. Chris Brewster did fight choreography on that, and I just thought the way they made Ant-Man feel so grounded and real, but also funny was impressive. What were your thoughts?
So Ant-Man and the Wasp as a whole, loved it so much more than the first one. I wasn't completely sold on the first one because I just visually could tell that like this was two different stories that were trying to be told because they had to switch up with the directors. It's like part of it was trying to be a heist movie, but it was also trying to be a superhero movie. It just felt like it didn't hit either one of those well. This one specifically was a comedy with action sequences.
Yeah.
Which made me it just felt like a whole complete movie, and I enjoyed that about it. There was the Michael Pena flashback sequence where it's where they did the same joke. Now I get very torn, and because I will always play the opposite side every time it happens. When, for example, Guardians 2, I was very upset because I wanted more of the first movie. But in this one, I was like, oh, that was a cool joke that they already did in the first movie. Thanks for bringing it back instead of doing something new and original. Whereas a lot of people did have the opinion where it's like, oh, there's that thing that I loved from the first one. I'm glad I got to see a little bit of it because they didn't overplay the joke, which is good. The action sequences were amazing. Wasp, badass woman in cinema. Go her. Super cool character. The tech was awesome. The choreography was amazing. And again, that never took away from the fact that it just felt like a comedy the whole time. And of course, it's riddled with Easter eggs throughout the entire movie. I did think with Ghost and the villain, Marvel's been doing such a great job recently with their villains, with Killmonger, with Thanos, obviously. And this was another good shades of gray villain. Where it's like, oh, it's the bad guy. Oh, but I get why she's doing it, so
Survival.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, part of me wanted them to focus more on that and maybe less on the other antagonists. But I thought about that, and then when I had that thought, I was like, wait a second, I love this movie because it was a comedy. And I think if they would have portrayed, like, the villain, like, I'm doing this because I'm gonna die, like, I think that would have actually changed the tone of the movie.
Right.
So I do think that they hit the balance very well, and this villain shouldn't, like, this villain should be up there with Killmonger and Thanos as just good Marvel villains.
And why didn't you like the post-credits first time?
I felt that
Are we talking post-credits as in Ant playing the drums, or are we talking
Mid and
mid-credits?
touche. Credit scenes.
I'll do my take on both.
The absolute post-credits.
It's light and fluffy.
So normally these things hit me in waves, and so my initial reaction is always like me as a fan sitting in the seats. I've been there for a little bit, so I see everyone start to disappear, and then Paul Rudd's stuck in there. I'm like, oh, what? really? This doesn't tie into Avengers at anything. Like, these post-credit scenes are supposed to give us a look into what to expect next. Like, that's kind of been the theme with them. Like, we know what we're getting next. This didn't really do that. It was just like, oh, duh, thanks for the reminder. But then I really thought about like the situation that Ant-Man was in. I thought about some of the things that Michelle Pfeiffer said right before he went in there. I was like, oh, no, this actually could be tying a lot of things together. This could be teasing what we see next, whatever. But it just didn't have that it wasn't the impact that I wanted to have at the end of the movie, because it was so lighthearted. I felt like the tone shift was just undeserved. It's like, oh yeah, thanks for harping on emotions that I've already felt. And then the post credit scene, post credit scene, I felt that those have kind of been abused since the movie that led into Avengers: Age of Ultron. Which one was that when they showed Scarlet Witch for the first time? It was what I remember too.
Into?
Yeah, which movie led into Age of Ultron?
What, was it with Dark World? No. Was it?
It might have been.
I think it was Dark World.
I think it was Dark World. Anyway, but then ever since then, it just felt like it was like another thing. Like, I've waited through the entire credits just to be like, oh, all right, well, was this actually worth my time? Oh, okay, it's an ant playing the drums and I see nothing. So like, it just didn't hit me. I'm a grumpy old man, I guess. I was like, give me a tie-in. Like, tie in the universe more.
We've got one love for post-credit and one hate for post-credit. What did you guys think of the overall?
So this is... You were like playing both sides of the argument your entire time, you know, with it.
Movie fighting himself.
Yeah, basically.
I'm my own devil's advocate.
Yeah, he's like, I like this, and
While
here's
also
why I
not
probably shouldn't like that. I thoroughly enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought it was, out of the two, if I had to choose another one to watch over again, I would watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I felt like it did what a sequel is absolutely supposed to do, where it's supposed to remind you of the world and then expand the universe out and go further into the character development of these characters and then put them in new circumstances that you can also find believable. And I feel like it very much did that. I felt like it was extremely on tone for what it was, which was a comedic action movie. Not only that, but I loved the callback for Michael Pena's character, for Lewis. And in particularly why I like that is because for the first one, it was one of my absolute favorite things out of it. So for them to then do like this fun spin on it where it's like, oh, truth serum. You're like, of course. And of course he'd have like, you know, just like, excuse the term, mouth diarrhea when it comes to, you know, when he's on truth serum. In fact, that's one of those things that it's like, would you rather be Lewis on truth serum or, and then insert blank here.
Yeah, that's
and
a good
chat
point.
room, feel free to insert the blank on that one. But also with this, and talking about Hannah John Kamen's character, Ghost, I got to interview her for Nerdist, for like the junket for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and some of the stuff that she went into going into being Ghost, like the very fact that she had to do the choreography and dance fight herself because she was doing, you know, multiple against Wasp. And then along with that, like being just an emotionally complicated character. I mean, to picture a character that since they were a child was just in a state of constant pain.
Yeah.
And then when they finally have the possibility of this solution, I mean, I can't even think of what it would be like to be in a state of constant pain, and to not only be that, but be a superpowered individual that is then utilized by the government and lied to, and then still kind of be a little bit okay. She was weird. She was super weird.
Like I said, they definitely could have like taken her character and made it more twisted, made it more dark. But then, like I said, it would take away from the tone of the movie.
I did enjoy the balance. I would have liked a little bit more into her character and the relationship between her and Bill Foster, because as Lawrence Fishburne, oh my god,
yeah, give me more of him all the time.
All day, any day, twice on Sunday with him. But with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then how imaginative the sequences were. And I mean the action sequences and then not along with that, you would put individuals that were not used to the miniaturized world. And for instance, when you had Wasp and then she had Lewis in the car and she was shrinking them to then do a speed chase, and it's like, yes, because then us as the audience get to be like, yeah, Lewis, this is exactly how I be right now. But then also having the badassery of being like, yeah, I'm also kind of driving this van right now.
No big deal.
You know, and expanding a little was a Hello Kitty Pez dispenser. So it's like you got to played that. Peyton Reed did a really great like playing that dynamic for both of the viewpoints with that. And then what he did with the quantum realm, where he like that was like I interviewed him too. They did stuff where it was like, yeah, this is what it looks like on the microscopic level. You know, here are water bears and they will attack you. You know, they will eat you because it is a eat thing world.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that small. And I know for me personally, when I picture the quantum realm, I know we had flashes of it, like, you know, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and stuff. But I still kind of thought, oh, maybe there'd be like a little civilization there of something or other that she'd be able to interact with. Instead of picturing this woman who has been in that realm for 30 years. That is like a type of solitary confinement mixed with hallucinogens. How is she not totally twisted?
I thought they were going to do something with time where, like, 30 years went by, but, like, it didn't. It felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
Maybe they should.
So she was in solitary confinement for 30 years, fighting for survival, fighting for her life, and then also doing mathematical equations. I would have liked to kind of see that. She was so okay.
Yeah,
she should have jumped out with a beard yelling, "What year is it?" 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, she should have been Lawrence Fishburne in, what is it, the Predator 3 movie? No, not Predator.
Oh, The Predators.
The Predator.
The Predators, where they take them to another planet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, you're like, oh, okay, he's cool, he survived. Oh, no, wait, he's
What happened?
Whoa, he's so crazy.
I would have liked to see more.
I kind of wanted that. But overall, very much enjoyed this. I think it definitely deserves the box office that it has. I've recommended it to people. It's definitely rewatchable. Not as much as Deadpool 2. But still, it's definitely a family movie. And as for... Okay, to throw in for post-credit scene. I liked it because it still stayed with the tone of what it did, because we keep on waiting for the end of the credit scenes. That's what we do for Marvel now. So then it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to sit there in your seat and wait. Here's an ant on some drums that you saw in the trailer, because that is the movie we are.
And it was creepy, and I liked that it was creepy and funny.
It was creepy. That tone change is appreciated. You mentioned Deadpool 2. Did you feel like a weird comparison? I was like, it's this again, because we have the cool scene with Paul Rudd when he's like smaller.
You mean when he was like a little
like
person
little kid sized,
running from the hall monitor?
But then you also have like the whole baby legs joke in scene in Deadpool, like him trying to grow his lower half again. Did you see like any comparisons? Like, my
manager describes it as a PG Deadpool when he got out of it. He was like, oh, that was like PG Deadpool, and I was like, I never would have put that together, but it is kind of like a comedy, pure comedy superhero movie, and it's good for the audience to have that option, which is why Peyton Reed keeps getting brought up for Fantastic Four. Amy, what did you think of the overall?
Well, I loved Cassie.
Yeah.
I love what they did with her, and I think that really ties in the whole family movie aspect, which I really appreciated. I think she killed it, and I think it makes us excited for her future in the MCU.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Right?
Stature. Stinger.
Stature's so cool. I love that character.
It would be so cool to have her.
And that actress,
she's so likable too.
Adorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
When she was stopping Wu, what's the actor's name? Kevin Wong? what's his name?
I love him so much.
When he was
His
stopping
last
it.
name is Wong.
Is
He's
it Wong?
sick.
Okay.
Yeah. His last name is Wong.
Thank you.
Is it John Wong?
Not BD
It's
Wong.
not that.
Who's BD Wong? That's someone.
No, that's something else.
I know his last name is
someone else.
Wong because his last name is the same last name as the character, and I know that.
Like in Doctor Strange as well?
Yeah, it's Doctor
Wow, there's
Strange.
two actors that have the same last name?
I thought it...
No, Wong's name is...
Who are we talking about right now?
No, we're talking about the...
I was thinking
FBI
Doctor
agent.
Strange.
No.
Oh, no, that's Randall Park.
Randall Park, I was about to say.
Yeah. I don't know why I skipped to Doctor Strange all of a sudden.
It's like, I want more Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I heard Wong and I was like, oh yeah, the dude that pieced out during Infinity War. Yeah,
I do in fact enjoy Doctor Strange's compatriot Wong, a random thing to bring up, but I do enjoy him.
And that actor's last name is Wong.
Yes, but Randall Park was fantastic.
Yes.
Let me know if I'm wrong.
I also, I feel like this one, not to hate on the first one, but the first one was kind of forgettable for me. I liked it. But in the grand scheme of things, it was kind of one of those where, oh, that was fun, yeah.
It was like the height of the Marvel algorithm also. Like, it followed pace by pace, like the same thing.
Well, and then this one was just, like, next level, which I appreciated. I love the Wasp. So I liked also the relationships that we got between mother, daughter, father figure and daughter and father and daughter.
I agree.
There was just a lot going on, which
A lot
I
of
liked.
father-daughter.
A lot of father-daughter. But yeah, definitely recommend seeing it, even to people that aren't huge Marvel fans.
It's
I
a
think they would
general fun
appreciate it.
movie.
Yeah.
The agent's name was Jimmy Woo. That's where I was getting Woo from. So Woo turned to Wong, which turned to Doctor Strange. That's what happened.
There you go.
I wanted to trace it back.
There we go.
Wow.
We got
There
Kevin
we go.
Bacon real hard. All right, so
we figured that out.
we enjoyed Ant-Man. We did have different opinions on the post-credit scene. We all think the villain was good. We all think it was better than the first. We all think it's worth
Yes.
seeing, and it's a very approachable Marvel movie. You don't need to have seen others.
Yes, it's a good family movie.
It's a standalone.
It's that encapsulated world that Koi was talking about, and then at the end, it reminds you, no, the world is still screwed.
Yeah.
Don't
By
think
the
it's all
way.
fluffy and fun.
Yeah. And I think us loving Cassie so much, before we leave spoilers, the time jump, I think Cassie's going to be involved in Avengers 4.
I think it
yeah.
has to.
yeah.
How much
I
of the
think
time
at
jump
that
is
point-
there?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Well, because
I don't think there's much of one though. I don't think there's enough for her to be stature.
I don't think
I
it
don't think it has
can't
to be
be.
stature, but I think
Because
she'll be in it.
Yeah.
Are you talking between Infinity War and Avengers 4?
Yeah.
Because I know like Avengers 4 to Far From Home, they're supposed to be a very small,
Tiny, yeah.
very tiny. Like we're talking weeks.
And they
Yeah,
can't age
and
up Tom
he's a
Holland.
senior junior in
So it'd be
that
2
movie.
years maybe, because they already said it was
Yeah.
2 years and he was a freshman to
So
junior.
that isn't enough time for stature.
No, but I think that actress will come back in so we can get to stature. I think
yeah,
she'll
phase
be
4.
in. Yeah. So, end of spoilers. Anybody have anything else they want to before we move on?
Where was the indoor plumbing?
What?
What?
They kept shrinking down the building, and there's no indoor plumbing.
That is a very good point.
Thank you. That bugged me the whole time. Sorry.
Size things with that.
Maybe
man.
they use the quantum realm as a disposal
Ew.
unit.
Ew.
Maybe.
That's a
Maybe.
dark place for
We gotta
Michelle
dump this
Pfeiffer.
sanctum.
Why do you
Oh,
think
my-
the Warner
no.
Bears were so angry?
Like you
Warner Bears are like,
Ew.
stop.
don't you send anything else this way.
Oh man, I don't want to think of Michelle Pfeiffer that way.
Oh, okay. But a fun moment to end it off on, to talk about like Cassie and moments. I absolutely adored the moment where he goes, she's like, oh, you need a partner, and he's like, oh wait, did you mean you? She's like, don't laugh.
That's adorable.
He will always be the world's greatest grandma.
Yeah.
The comedy in the film, top notch. Bobby Cannavale just trying to hug people, weirdly funny. Also, close-up magic. All of it's good.
Baba Yaga. That was the best
Baba
scene.
Yaga.
Baba Yaga was the best scene.
David Dastmalchian.
That might have been the funniest moment in all Marvel movies, and I
That
dare
was
someone to argue me with anything from Thor Ragnarok.
It was so
Baba Yaga was the
perfect.
funniest moment.
Yeah,
It was
I
such
really-
a perfect moment.
We could talk
They
about the
built
comedy
up
of
to it.
Ant-Man for the hour of the show,
Yeah.
which is a testament to how good the comedy was.
Was.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yes,
check
well
out
worth
Ant-Man if you haven't seen it. Tweet any of us. We will argue why Baba Yaga is real funny. And in the meantime, no more spoilers.
No more spoilers. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Wow.
back.
It is a spoiler
Spoiler free.
light. Got it.
So, spoiler-free moment, Black
Yeah.
Panther. Kevin
Yes.
Feige would like to see Black Panther get Oscar noms. 1,
Like
deserved.
the rest of the world.
2, everyone's saying it. 3, if Kevin Feige wants it, I think we'll finally get a push. Because Oscars are a lot of politics. You put a lot of money into it, everything else. Kevin Feige saying it publicly, I think is the first time we've had him say anything about the MCU this way. I
Yeah.
think we'll get an Oscar push with some finances behind it.
What's the nom though?
I think Best
everything.
Picture.
Everything.
Every
Best,
single.
costume
Definitely
design.
costume design. Ruthie
Costume
Carter
design,
has been
100%.
nominated twice for Amistad, and I want to say Malcolm X was the other one. It was in the 90s. I'm very certain it's those two movies. She will get nominated for this, and she will win because everybody's about Afrofuturism. Everybody is about their. I mean, and having Hannah Beachler as a production design behind this was absolutely amazing. There's no way. I'm saying it. Markia confirms Ruthie Carter will get an Oscar nom, and I believe she will get an Oscar win.
You heard it here
for this.
first, folks.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. You heard it here first.
I Walter Cronkited before you. And I think Best Director, Ryan Coogler. Personally, these are my things. Best Picture, Best Wardrobe, Best Costume Design, Best Director, and I think Best Supporting for Michael B. Jordan, if not Best Lead for Chadwick Boseman.
Do
But
we
I think
we
supporting.
could get a Best Supporting Actress out of
I would
this?
love-
I would
love
honestly, I
for
would see a best
Denai.
supporting actress before I would
Yeah.
see
I would love
like
Denai or,
a best
Lupita.
actor.
Lupita,
Lupita's-
either of them. Either of them.
either
yeah.
of them.
Or
So
both.
or
them.
all
Yeah.
of them. I'd love her to get like a Lord of the Rings Return of the King, didn't where they apologized for the first 2 Lord of the Rings by giving Return of the King like 19.
Yeah.
I'd love for Black Panther to be like, hey, we've ignored comic movies. Awards, because it deserves
Bam,
it.
bam, bam.
Have them all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the soundtrack. Oh, God.
I'd love to see
I
Kendrick
still look
Lamar.
out to that
Imagine
song.
Was there-
Kendrick Lamar on stage at the Oscars going, thanks. So, like, that'd
Well-
be such a moment.
Remember when they had it ain't easy On the Streets for a Pimp or something. That was nominated
Yeah,
for
Six
an
Mafia,
Oscar, and they
Hustle
say
and
it.
Flow.
Hustle and Flow.
It's
That's
hard out
right.
here for a
They
pimp, trying to make that money for the rent, looking
love
for
that
cash
song.
money spent. So I think that Black Panther will get those noms. Kevin Feige said, quote, I think there are a lot of amazing artists that helped to make that movie, and it would be wonderful if they could be recognized. Almost everyone involved in that movie, bringing that movie together is great, and it'll be wonderful to see if they're recognized. We'll see. The genre, typically not. I love that he's like positive, positive, positive. I'm just looking at you, Academy. The genre, typically not.
I want an award show that is somewhere between the MTV Movie Awards and the Oscars, where we can like do
Golden
like.
Globes.
Do you mean the Golden
Okay, never mind.
Globes?
Okay, yeah, never mind. Hey, I wanted it, I got it.
There
Great.
you go.
Globes, SAG Awards.
All those things. All right, never
SAG
mind.
Awards still fancy. Gold Globes is hammered.
Yeah, Golden Globes is
just
the best.
drunk Oscars, which I respect.
I like it. I like that they just sit there at tables, drinking and eating, be like, oh, is it my turn?
I gotta
It's like, I got a thing to say.
I wore
I've
pants
made a
today.
mistake.
Did I win an award?
I'm in a suit,
I'll
but
go
I'm
on.
on the whiskey. So, female superheroes. Slash Film has a great article talking about female superheroes and why they're stuck in the past. Amy, I want to hear your specific thoughts on it because I saw your eyes light up when I brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like superheroes are stuck in the past? Female superheroes.
Well, it's crazy enough that I didn't even think about this. I read the article and I was like, whoa, that's true. It's an interesting point that, yeah, like we haven't really had a female superhero where she actually takes place in our present, except for I think it's like not Supergirl, Jessica Jones. But even then, that's TV. So why? I don't know. Some people have been saying it's because we want to get the backstory, but we don't always have to get a backstory to really, empathize with a superhero. We can still get that while still being in the present for a majority of the movie and not have it take place like 40, 50 years ago. But I get it. I get that some people just, I don't know, it's maybe something that we never thought about. I don't know if they're really doing this on purpose, like, we don't want women in the present or the future. No, I just think it's something that kind of happened, but something to think about, and we should definitely try to make things more relevant.
Well, Kevin Feige
present.
said he expects more than half of the team going forward to be female, and more of the solo movies to be female. And Black Widow being on the docket, A-Force I think all but being announced. Like
yeah,
A-Force is pretty
absolutely.
much a thing.
Yeah,
and I
pretty
think Wonder
much.
Woman being a god, having that in the past worked for the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think Captain Marvel, it gives you a legacy. And she needs an origin movie because Captain Marvel, like, what?
Yeah,
Captain
because
Marvel's
it's
such
coming
you
out of a
can't-
different
and you can't just
space
throw
for
her
other
into the
people.
movie like, by the way, she's Kree. What? A half Kree.
Yeah,
What?
that one you
Yeah,
need.
she's a
She
lot.
fights scrolls. What?
What? Yeah.
I think that adds a lot of depth, though, to the Marvel Cinematic Universe by having this giant event take place in the 90s that not a lot of people know about. So I think that it just gives us more than just, superheroes started with Iron Man. I think it's a nice way to turn things on its side as we move into Phase 4 and we start to phase out some of the characters, where it's like, oh no, Iron Man, yeah, he was a big deal, but this has been going on for
She's
a while.
first. Do you like that it makes
Yeah.
her the first?
I do, but I'm also like, geez, I wish we could have started with her back in the day.
But it wouldn't have
Yeah.
sold, like, Captain Marvel, the character would have been
Exactly.
a hard sell. I mean,
Yeah.
Iron Man was already a hard sell.
Yeah, the thing that I see this as, I don't agree with this article, like at all,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing that I see this why they are setting MCU female characters in the past is because they made a mistake. They had everything be mainly white male driven, and that is a fact. I mean, look at what the MCU is. We had to get to number 18 before we had Black Panther, and you had Black Widow kind of tagging along there. Her part got bigger and bigger as it went on, and then you hit Age of Ultron. You got Scarlet Witch, and Black Panther. Then you really fully fledged out. So the only way to really correct that mistake of having this MCU be set up with, and they set it up in a way that unless they place something in the present in another country, which I don't think they even have that headspace for, they couldn't have a female superhero in the present right now to be fledged out like we do these ones. So therefore they have to put them in the past so that we can have them in our near future. So I think it's correcting a mistake.
I also think that the main reason that they had to do stuff in the past is because they have such a intricate storyline happening right now, and I do think that the bringing on more female-led projects, which as necessary as it is, might be a little on the reactionary side. And with that, they're like, all right, we have this present time is covered. We can't explain why Black Widow is doing this, but also fighting Thanos. Okay, so where are we not covered? All right, future stories taken care of. All right, this is what happened in the past. there we go. That's where we have room in story. Not a lot of stuff was happening there. And I think it's just like the biggest playground that they have is because it's not covered with these giant storylines that are supposed to be intertwining all over the place.
Yeah.
I think, and it's
Thank
also.
you for agreeing to my point.
Yes.
I think that 18 being Black Panther and 21 being Captain Marvel and A-Force and being imminent, I think they're showing that they're like paying attention now. I hope.
Which is great.
And I think
they're
like
growing.
looking at the growth,
Yeah.
the growth of the company. Now speaking of growth of company, MVMT watches. That's right. That was a sellout tangent. You're welcome.
Oh, I love their watches. Like this legit isn't even like a hashtag ad. Like I love their watches.
They're amazing.
Their stuff is really good.
So they happen to help keep our lights.
I'm wearing one right now.
Wearing one right now.
I was
Yeah.
looking.
So
There you go.
MVMT have been keeping our lights on. MVMT are a great company of 2 college dropouts that were like, hey, why are watches so expensive? They have sold 2 million watches in 160 countries since they decided, hey, that's silly. So these 2 college dropouts have dozens of styles, and the number of styles are expanding on the website all the time. If you go on the website, literally week to week, you will see more styles. You will see totally different things. I love that they have classic styles. They have more advantageous styles. They have like Mariner styles. I really like their watches because they are very eye-catching, but they're not gaudy. And man, a gaudy watch will ruin an outfit. They're sleek. They're minimalist. They're sexy. So I really like MVMT as a company, and I like what they represent. They're about looking good, keeping it simple, and they start at just $95. So you go to a department store, you will spend $400 to $500 on the very same watch, if not more, because watches are
100%.
silly expensive because you got a guy trying to hawk a watch at you. Instead, you got the internet. You don't have to listen to some guy try to sell you a watch. You just buy the one you want. Saves, cuts out the middleman. You don't have to pay for lights. Don't pay for rent. Buy the watch. So MVMT starts at $95, and with us, if you go to mvmt.com/Marvel, you can save 15% off. 15% of 95 is what? 9 plus 4,
Do the math,
50,
Corey.
13,
Do
50,
the math.
1350
Do the
minus
math
95.
live.
You got 8250.
Do it.
8250 for a watch and free
Yeah.
shipping. What up?
I'm over here like shaking my head like I'm not gonna do the math. Meanwhile, you're in my ear doing the math. And I was like, okay.
8250 for the watch and up. And I
I
just
would
I
have
really
just taken
appreciate the company.
$10 off and be like, it's around there.
Nailed
Like,
it.
it's around $85.
Yeah, so 82 to 8350 by the way for a watch. So they're great. So mvmt.com/Marvel. They've been great to us, so check them out and buy a watch. And if you get one, let us know and tag us in it, tag them in it. Spread the love of MVMT. Okay.
Yes.
Back to the news. Speaking of Captain Marvel from before that commercial break, they are officially finished filming,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Air horn, air horn.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's great.
I love how Brie Larson announced the rap with the I love clappy boards. Every time I'm on set, I see one and I just did something about that childhood. Like,
Yeah.
it's real, it's a movie.
It's like this is a real thing.
Look at them with the
The
soft sticks.
production.
Fancy. So I love that the photo is the schedule with the sticks on it. Everyone signed it. Like, that's just such an iconic film image. Plus, Captain Marvel, like, I never thought as a kid I'd see a Captain Marvel movie, so to see it on such an iconic film image, like, makes it real.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. That's coming. They're wrapped. It comes out March 8th, 2018, and that's about all the news about it. It's wrapped, so that's exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to have Brie Larson, some more Samuel L. Jackson, which is always a good thing. You know,
Eye patch origins.
yeah. Oh, I can't wait for his.
Colson
Yes.
as well?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have,
Both of them with the young
We're gonna
CGI.
have Thirst Trap Colson,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I hope he has a mullet.
I hope he's just like, I hope he's a rebel.
No.
No, I
Amy
don't.
disagrees.
No, not a
No,
rebel.
he's gonna be the
I
goody
want him to be
two
a
shoes
rebel.
that like
No.
loves Captain America and
No.
is
I
probably
want- I want
collecting
him-
his
I want him
cards
to
throughout the
become
movie.
That. I want him to kind of be like someone who kind of goes against the rules, thinks outside the box, and then he learns to work within the box and do his own rules with it.
Like
smart.
Giles and Buffy.
Yeah, good
There you
crossover.
go.
Parallel.
I like that. I like that a lot. This is a nice crossover.
So there are some prequel characters. I'm sorry.
Just real quick, because Samuel L. Jackson, I found this out today because it's going to be at Comic-Con. Glass.
Yeah.
I was like, where was I when everybody else found out about Glass?
At Comic-Con. Universal.
Ooh.
The Universal panel, yeah.
Yeah, I am so looking
coming.
forward to that.
I never saw Unbreakable.
You need to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
see,
I
you know,
really
in fact,
want
we
to.
won't have. Do you know about
I know
Unbreakable?
some
Okay.
You
things. I know things because I saw
Okay.
the prequel or sequel thing that just came out with
Okay. Split.
new Split.
Yeah, with
New Xavier.
McAvoy.
So you're like, this moment feels important.
It's like okay, Bruce Willis. Wait a second. Everyone else is freaking out. I should too.
I strongly recommend seeing Unbreakable. It's one of my favorites.
It'll happen.
Internet, sorry, I said 2018. I meant March 2019 because March has passed and the movie's not out.
Time stone.
Time travel. Yeah.
Speaking of time travel, Spider-Man Far From Home will not feature Doctor Strange. Many have theorized Doctor Strange because it takes place in London. Mysterio's been the rumored villain. They were broing out in the movie. We assume he's going to get a new father figure from Tony Stark. I had thought, because many comic experiences between these two are great, but Kevin Feige has confirmed that is not a thing.
Which we definitely can trust him, because directors and creators never lie.
He's never lied to us.
Every interview from the Russo brothers before Avengers.
Yeah,
Never lied
everything
to
is
us in
just
any trailer ever.
All of it.
just direct two-faced lies. Like, this is not happening, happens.
So that is the new truth.
I actually believe this, though. I don't think there's going to be a Doctor Strange, and I don't think there's any need to. But it makes me wonder what the cameo will be then.
Because
I don't think it'll be Tony Stark. Sorry, I think that Tony Stark's not making it.
Yeah,
I think that he isn't.
Yeah,
I think
done.
we're gonna have somebody else take up the Iron Man or Iron Man-esque mantle.
Iron
I don't know
Mantle?
who. The Iron Mantle. How dare you? Get out.
Where's that room shot?
I don't know if they're gonna go Riri and have, I don't know, Shuri kind of meld into that. I don't know if they might have what is it? Oh God, Gwen Paltrow's character. Why am I
Rescue?
Yeah, I don't know if they might have
Pepper Potts?
Rescue in there. I mean,
War Machine is like,
they could do War.
I think War Machine would be a good person to take on.
So it's like there's a lot of possibilities there, but I don't think he will be a cameo because I believe he will be an ultimate sacrifice.
I wonder if we'll actually, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I read some, like, contradicting information. There isn't a third Spider-Man movie planned, right? Because with the Marvel deal, it was 2 solo Spider-Man movies and then other crossover movies. Correct?
I thought it was 3. I thought he signed on for 3 altogether.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like 3 total
as in
movies or
3
3
Well, he's
solo-
already done 4 movies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
not
thought,
3.
I thought it was 3 solos and 1 has already been done.
I need
So
to
there
go
were
back
2
to that
more.
deal and double
I
check.
know. Well, I know for Black Panther, I know Chadwick Boseman.
7, didn't he?
signed, no, 5.
5, okay.
He did 5, and that was Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War. So he's got 2 more.
Got it. Okay.
Because-
So probably Avengers 4 and Black
with
Panther
what
2.
Sony's doing with their Spider-Verse, not to be confused with the actual Into the Spider-Verse movie, but with them announcing Silk, and Silk has like her origin story is Peter Parker's origin story. So I thought they were trying to set up and like be a little more independent with this particular Spider-Man movie, so that Tom Holland
can
could
move
hop on
into-
over, because you can't do Spider-Verse movies without
Spider-Man?
It's dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm all for it, just like the Venom. Okay, we'll see.
Venom cheerleader, I get it.
Yeah,
It's exhausting.
The thing that really confuses me about this movie is like we're starting to get details like your synopsis, and Peter Parker's on a school trip to London where things go wacky. I'm like, things are already pretty wacky right now.
Yeah.
How do we go from this
and everything's
to
chill.
this?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't work for me.
I don't care if 2 years pass. I don't care how many time pass. How do you don't go from like this world ending thing and then just all of a sudden like, hey guys, let's go on a school trip to London. I'm
Unless
not
they
buying
remember
it.
things
I
or
don't know.
misleading information. I think it's a misleading synopsis.
It depends. It depends on how they're going to
a lot.
spin what this sacrifice thing is. I mean, there might be time play into it where it's just like it takes it back, and then like our original ones end up being sacrificed and the dusting never happened, kind of a thing, or it could take it from where
cool
it
is
is
that we
and
have
all
no
the people
idea?
all the people come back. So then if you have a few months in between, the world can readjust. I don't know.
Now-
But we don't know.
Something that
We
I
don't
think Marvel needs to be very careful with, and Disney needs to be careful with, because they've already done this once, is they give us this little blank canvas of like, nobody knows what's gonna happen, and then because it's the age of the internet, everyone comes up with these theories and ideas, just like happened between episode 7 and episode 8, to the point where whatever they wind up doing might be so different from what fans have worked up in their mind,
Yeah.
like, this is what's gonna happen, and then it's like, oh, but I liked my idea more, and then it just like splits the audience. They have to be very careful not to do
The
that.
internet makes the world tricky. Speaking of the internet, the conversation that announced this for sure was, I love that he's listed as Peter in this conversation, not Tom Holland. Peter, and you've said in the past that Peter Soretta, the editor. I thought it was Peter Parker because I am wearing a Spider-Man jacket. Peter Soretta, excellent editor of Slash Film. You've also said in the past that the plan for these Spider-Man movies is to kind of have another Marvel cameo in each one, kind of like you did with Tony Stark. Kevin, I did? Peter, I thought you did in some older interview. It's in the MCU, so yeah. I'm wondering, because London, there's a Sanctum there. Is Doctor Strange going to be in this one? No. I should be coy about it. But no. Peter shocked to give a direct response. Okay. Kevin, in quote, I don't want to get people excited, but Benedict and Holland have liked the idea of working together. So, vague, misleading, playing coy. And JB Smoove has joined the cast. If you guys don't know who JB Smoove is, he's a hilarious comedian. He pops up a lot. He's in Curb Your Enthusiasm. You definitely know him. I'm very curious as to what element he brings to the movie, because the comedy in the first one's a lot of fun. I'm excited for a lighter tone, especially after Infinity War. And I imagine part 4 is going to be just as dark.
Yeah, well, I like JB Smooth's delivery. It's he's very he's a realistic, like realistic family.
Yeah.
Like, he's somebody that exists in your family. And
He's real.
And they're kind of crazy. But just that proper amount of crazy where it's like,
Still fun crazy.
Still fun
On
crazy.
the line of fun crazy.
Exactly. It's like, okay, I'll bail you out.
So, in the world of Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse is bringing in another piece of fun crazy. The fun craziest uncle of them all. Nicholas Tiberius Cage. I don't know if his middle name's Tiberius, but it is now. Nicholas Cage is Spider-Man Noir, and that's real weird and delightful. Nicholas Cage is not just Superman, he is now Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, I'm really excited for any of the memes and gifs that come out of
crazy.
this. This is like, you always think that Nicolas Cage has reached peak Nicolas Cage, and then he out Nicolas Cages himself.
Somehow. I
I
want to see behind the scenes footage from recording the audio for Spider-Man
Oh,
Noir.
that's gotta be great.
I just want to see him like I want to see that happening.
And Spider-Man Noir is like one of my favorite like other Spider-Man versions, and to see just have Nick Cage behind it is gonna be great. Like Into the Spider-Verse is like the one thing that has me actually believing in Sony right now for their Spider-Man movies. I'm like, this is gonna be great.
Looks incredible.
The guy that they're playing Peter Parker, I constantly forget his name.
Jake Johnson, I think.
Yep, guy from New Girl. He's gonna be the perfect Peter Parker.
Shamik Moore from Dope. Have you seen Dope?
No, I haven't seen Dope.
Dude, Dope is Miles Morales. If you watch Dope, it's like, oh, if Miles Morales didn't have powers, went to school.
There you go.
It's incredible. Dope's one of the best movies of 2016.
I just can't wait for that movie. Like I'm weirdly excited. Like I don't want to put up like a Sony movie too high because I'm like, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like I can't be disappointed by this movie.
Well, that movie comes out in December, December 14th, 2018, and I gotta give some love to Marco Baker in the live chat. He said Smooth might be playing Jameson. That's a great idea.
He'd make a great Jameson.
His like fiery rage and fun and mad. I could totally see if they go full comedic Jameson. That's really funny.
Like J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, right?
He can kill that.
If
He
they
has like
wanted
a
to do that,
silly
that'll
mustache.
work.
I'm all about that. So moving over to the internet itself, subreddit got snapped. And we have an amazing video of Mr. Thanos himself, naked Josh Brolin. We assume he's naked because he says so, but we don't see any little Thanos. We don't see his Infinity Stones.
I like to picture him wearing a bandeau right now.
Here we go, Reddit users.
So glad that happened.
That's smile.
Like this is the coolest thing.
Really is. Like, I love
fun.
the level of dedication that Reddit has. I love that, like, frickin' Josh Brolin did that. I love that it got like, the internet gets so much, like, it's dangerous. Like, there's politics and anger and hate and everything else. But then you look at all that, and then on the other side, there's this. This to me is, like, the opposite of the badness of the internet. It's Josh Brolin playing with fans, referencing a character while he's, like, at home.
And half of them are gone.
And half of them are gone!
I got banned.
Did you?
I got banned.
We have
I'm in the
someone
soul
else.
stone now.
Someone else in the chat. Thunder God Kiro 770. I survived.
Yes.
Hey, what's it like in the subreddit right now?
How
I don't know.
is it?
I can't see
What's
it.
the future look like for Avengers 4? You're in it.
Guys, I like the first comment by Lobster Bush says, I don't feel so good.
I did a video on this Reddit thing because I thought it just needed to be talked about. Because
So
like you're
good.
talking about, the internet can be like a horrible, toxic place for fandoms. And this was like a great time for not only fans to come together, but like the Russo brothers were a part of this. One got banned, the other didn't get banned. Perfect balance. like Thanos himself involved with it. This was just a cool moment in like geek history that we all just gotta watch happen. It was fun.
I just love that they did it, and like they did it on July 9th, and they committed to the bit. They said they were gonna do it, then committed to it. They had to like set up engineers and stuff because of all the backlash on the internet. Like, it's a real thing, and
I'm so glad they went through it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Like Reddit was very hesitant. Their admins were like, "You can't do it." Then they're like, I guess they had the foresight to know that how many people were gonna be talking about this. It was a big thing for Reddit.
And you know what? They kind of had to do it because it's canon.
It is.
Yes.
And what great
canon.
marketing. What are we most excited to talk about right now? Like, we're all like, Josh Brolin snapped. Like, that's it's real. So, actually, Ant-Man, do we have time for the Infinity War trailer?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and so Blu-ray Infinity War coming very soon, and we got a trailer for you guys.
I'm gonna ask one time. Who are you?
Which we're semi gonna.
Oh yeah, we should talk over so
Yeah,
legally we don't remove it.
So legally,
So
they
that
can't
is
remove
coming
it.
soon, and I love it. Ghosts itself out.
Yes, because it doesn't feel very good.
And yeah, this trailer doesn't feel very good. August 14th is not far away.
You know, it's around the corner. I can't
That
wait.
is so close to my birthday.
Like,
The special features sound amazing too, by the way. Have you guys looked at the actual
I
special
haven't.
features?
Yes.
what do we got?
So the July 31st, there's a couple special features. If you are a real American, you buy frickin' tangible. You buy that thing. You get a frickin' you own it.
Only if you're real American
I know.
international
Tangible.
listeners.
Tangible Media's missed. I miss it so much. Everyone buy Tangible Media.
Which I've stopped buying DVDs. And this is one I will probably, because I grew up like watching like behind the scenes stuff. Like I love this stuff, and like I want to have the behind the scenes stuff playing while I'm working in the office or something. I just want to see this.
Yeah, it's such a movie.
I tend to buy I guess digital a lot, but every now and again I'll
Like
go
this
to
one.
town for having the actual Blu-ray.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Third funniest moment in
So
all of
many-
Marvel cinematic
Because it's so
history.
sincere.
Genuine.
I
It's
am
so
Steve
genuine.
Rogers.
So good. Oh, now I need to know what the second funniest moment. All right,
You've
I'm
set it up,
foreseeing a
man.
top 5.
You've caused a rift.
YouTube.com/JovenShire. I will do this.
The second most
Where's your gun?
Oh, come on, man.
Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
Fourth funniest moment. Okay, now this list makes itself.
I think the second one, I'm just going to say what your second one is.
What do we got?
Involves Koye's side-eye. It's one of the
Oh god, it's so good.
I mean,
R.Y. is Gamora.
yeah, and like, I was gonna say
Yeah, that was great.
Guardians. Like, there's so
Why
much
is-
good comedy, and so that comes out in August on. on
Thanks, Lico
Tangible.
JG. I just looked in the chat room. It was like, oh, why is Gamora perfect?
Yeah.
Yep.
July 31st, digital. August 14th, tangible on the actual Blu-ray that you buy and hold. There is Strange Alchemy, which is share the thrill of characters from the MCU meeting for the first time. I can't wait to see some of that. The Mad Titan, explore the MCU's biggest, baddest villain. Beyond the Battle, Titan, dive into the climactic struggle on Thanos, all the visual effects, all the stunts on that planet. Beyond the Battle, Wakanda. Go behind the scenes to find out how the filmmakers pulled off one of the most massive and challenging battles Marvel has ever had to make.
Yeah, and pull it off, they did.
They did. That scene's amazing.
That was excellent.
We have 10 minutes and 7 seconds of deleted and extended scenes, a
please.
2-minute gag reel,
Yes!
and a full 149-minute audio commentary by Anthony, Joe Russo, and Marcus and McFeely.
Yep, gotta watch that.
Boom, owning
Yes.
that.
Heck yeah.
I wish they
I
would
want that
release
commentary.
those commentaries as like podcasts, because sometimes I don't want to like watch the whole movie. I want to just hear them talk about it, and something to think about. Marvel, come on,
Yeah,
give me a podcast version.
The Fight Club Blu-ray has 4 commentaries, and they released 2 of them just audio.
Smart.
So that's like they're starting to learn, I
Good.
think. So speaking of Black Panther versus Deadpool is a comic coming out.
Yeah, it is.
There is a Koi versus Markia comic, and this is what it looks like.
It's
Speaking of reactionary,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, Marvel, what are your 2 biggest selling properties? Maybe you should do some sort of comic about them.
we can do this. Yeah, no problem.
I have sent Markia a few comics over the years about like these 2 fighting and meeting and things, and
it's
now it's
super
going to
fun.
be in a space. There's going to be a mini-series.
well, and I'm curious because there was like the Deadpool versus Thanos storyline, but that wasn't really them fighting, but then working together, but also fighting. So I wonder what their relationship here is going to be. Same thing with Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man and Deadpool or Spider-Man versus Deadpool?
The comic is Spider-Man Deadpool. There's a
Okay.
37-issue run.
See, and now we talked about this. I actually read like the first 8 issues. It is
Yeah,
so,
it's so
good.
It's one of the best runs, like,
So,
period.
I will definitely be reading this with you.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. But for this one, because one of the ones that Koi sent me in the past was, Deadpool's trying to spoil Game of Thrones
And Black
for Black
Panther's
Panther, and Black Panther trying to be classy about it and be like, no, this will not stand. Table flip.
And they fight in a bathroom, and Deadpool takes a bathroom break. It's high art. It's classy.
It really is.
Good,
And then
good,
they
good.
fight together in Doom Wars.
So good.
there's that. And Deadpool's hitting on the Dora Milaje and Shuri,
Oh,
who's
gosh.
older in the comics. So yeah.
So this October, we're getting Black Black Panther vs. Deadpool, a 5-issue miniseries by Daniel Kibbleston and Rico Lopez Ortez. Sorry, Wade, you may get a ton of that R-rated box office money, but you don't get that Wakanda Forever box office money. You get second billing on this one. So the synopsis is, for a reason he'd rather not discuss, because, well, it makes him look bad, Deadpool needs a piece of vibranium, and the only way to get vibranium is to go through the Black Panther himself. But Deadpool soon learns that his unconventional methods don't exactly work to get the king of the most technologically advanced country on the planet. Coming October 3rd.
Why does he need vibranium?
That's what we'll find
What's
out.
it gonna be?
That's what we'll find out.
I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be adult related. That's what I think.
You know, it's gonna be good. So that is all of the happy, fun, go lucky news. You guys have anything of that you want to talk about before moving on to sad things?
Really looking forward to the comic, and it's sad to have comic creators that leave us.
Steve Ditko was 90 years old, and we found out he passed away last week. We found out last week. He has passed away June 29th, I think it was. But we just heard about it because his family respecting the privacy. Steve Ditko was a pioneer. The man was like the foundation of a lot of comics, and comics, in my opinion, comics. He worked for DC, he worked for Marvel, he worked before Marvel was Marvel. He came up with Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Blue Beetle, The Question, Hawk and Dove.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl, like even as recently as Squirrel Girl.
He's Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Doc Ock, who I always really, really enjoyed as that, you know, that antithesis of Peter Parker, where it's like you have like this phenomenal brain, this phenomenal scientist that can have, you know, the roots, but then the roots like in the responsibility, but then decides more along the side of power than it is the great responsibility. And so I always really like that about Doc Ock and Steve Ditko.
And that's why it was fun when that whole Superior Spider-Man run, because it played in the tropes that Steve Ditko established. Yeah. And Steve Ditko's style was like no one else. Like a lot of people copied, like often copied, never actually landed. Like he had that wiriness that wasn't like comic superheroes were like square chested and hello and like I'm Atlas Man. Like there was an ad at the time. And then Steve Ditko was like, what if he's a wiry little nerd? And like Doctor Strange, what if he does weird stuff with his hands and like drugs are behind him? Like that was a bold choice. Like this guy embraced like LSD, and I really respect that. Like he was a pioneer, and he also was a trendsetter, and Steve Ditko was so much for comics. So we've lost a titan. And you know, it's a real sad thing.
I'm really glad that we're respecting him and his work, because I think that when you look at like the beginning days of what him and Stan Lee were doing, I think he was doing a lot more than Stan Lee was doing at the time. Like he was putting these stories together without the dialogue and trying to figure out the characters. And I thought, like you said, like it was the base that Stan Lee was able to then turn into real magic. I think that this is kind of a dark, horrible thought, but one day when we lose Stan Lee, it's going to be this big pop culture thing. But I think that this is a big legend, and I think that it needs to be a bigger thing. Go back, look at what he did, learn about what he made. He had a big part in like just comic history.
Read the first 35 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Like we'll start with Amazing Fantasy and then Amazing Spider-Man. Read the beginning of Doctor Strange and then jump over to Blue Beetle, like Ted Kord, and like see like a lot of what you like in comics.
Yeah, Goblin. It's like did you like Willem Dafoe? You wouldn't have had him.
Right, and the weirder characters like the Question, and like it's just he's a lot of comics.
Well, and it even goes like past comics, like. Apparently, according to JSOP, Gene Simmons based his Kiss character off Ditko's Doctor Strange.
No way!
So it's like you just never know what inspired other people to create other characters or anything, really, you know?
So I think what I would hope for you guys is whenever there is a death, I get sad and then I get really inspired. So I would hope that you look at this man who inspired Gene Simmons, who inspired all of us, who inspired comics, who inspired the foundation of the thing that you love because you're watching this, if you're hearing this, do things, act, like create, like inspire others, like be a better person, just be positive, be a force of nature. And the more you can do that affects the world creatively and positively, the more you can have an impact like this man. And we have reverence for him because he was a force of good. So be better. Just
do that.
Yeah,
good.
and name yourself and your kids after creations.
Always.
Comic creations.
My poor children.
Like Nicolas Cage.
Ooh,
name
poor kids.
yourself after
Oh man,
Nick Cage
after Coy the Second, there's gonna be a lot of nepotism and then comic stuff. So Steve Ditko has passed. Much love to that man and his family and anyone that knew him, and we thank him for all that he did. And now on to lighter pastures. Anthony, we got like 5:10? 5?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Luke Cage season 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes?
I got it.
Okay.
I'm good. Let's do it.
Luke Cage season 2. full spoilers because I know you did non-spoilers. You touched on it last week, right?
Yeah, but I thought we were taking it like episode-wise.
Do you want to dive in?
So I did like 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
So then that way.
So you did 4, 5, and 6 last week?
Yeah.
Then let's do 7, 8, 9?
Sure.
Can we do to 10? Because I love 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Luke Cage is, I think, better than the first season because it's perfect that you did those episodes because that's where the first season
That's
for me
when it really
escalated.
Yeah.
And the first
it really,
season
like,
kind of
ramped it up.
dropped off for me right around there.
Well, that's because, we
lost a certain character that
and but with this,
It
like
did the
Brian
opposite.
like doubled down, and then Mustafa Shakir. Did I get that right? Mustafa Shakir, I think that's his name.
The
Bushmaster.
Yeah.
Like he just like became so human to me, but also so powerful force at the same time.
I loved finding out his backstory, and it was like episode 7 or 8. We really started diving back into him.
Yeah.
And I really like that this season. It's almost like they looked at where they went wrong last season. They're like, okay, we got to make sure episode 7 escalates instead of dropping off. Because this season, for me, it's all about the villains being as good as the hero, and I really love Bushmaster. I really like Dillard Stokes so much in this season because at the end, like, you see the ramifications from these middle episodes and what she was able to accomplish.
Yes.
Kind of won. So I really like that also, man, episode 10 having a decent Finn Jones was so delightful. That's why for me episode 10.
We gotta talk
I gotta talk about 10 because as soon as he walked in, I was like, wait, that's a different Iron Fist. Like his energy, his aura.
Which is so good because like there was so many complaints about his character, just the Iron Fist as a whole. Then you see this and you're like, oh, they're best friends. That's what I wanted.
The scene of him talking on the balcony, explaining to Luke Cage about Chi, I was like, oh, that's Heroes for Hire. How did they find that in what we had? How did they like discover this? Like, so episode 10 for me was like a giant, oh, we can make this work. I'm sorry. And then all of the mid-season stuff was like, oh, we know what we did with Cottonmouth was wrong. Here's how Dillard actually really works. I really dug the season.
And it's what I was talking about, Iron Fist popping up in episode 10. I thought going into Luke Cage season 2 that it was going to like really expand on the friendship like through the entire series. And because I didn't really want an Iron Fist season 2 if they're doing it, like I just wanted like just throw him in Luke Cage and it's called Luke Cage, but it's Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Great. Because I think some of these shows are so good on their own, they don't need a second season, like Jessica Jones. Season 1's so good. Season 2, meh.
A lot of different. Season 1 was, about Jessica Jones and the world. Season 2 was about the world around Jessica Jones.
True.
I still preferred season 1, but I understand what they were going with season 1.
It really elaborated on you're right, like her world. But going with your point. For Luke Cage season 1. As much as I enjoyed it, and as much as they did so many things right with it, when you have a character like Luke Cage that is indestructible, there's a way to deal with this character that makes the viewer think that, all right, something bad can happen. They didn't do that well in the first one. They even bring the bullet that's supposed to destroy him, and then he gets shot with it and it did nothing. So I'm like, oh, okay, so there's nothing. There's literally nothing.
Because that second treatment, like in the comics, exactly like in the comics, it made him even more indestructible. And
then, but this one, that's when they're like, all right, can't take out Cage, take out everything else around him. I'm like, that's smart. Good. So it had more drama. The first 3 episodes were a little cheesy for me, but going all the way through, I was like, it got so much better. The villains got better. The relationships got better, which is so unique.
The tactics
super
got better.
unique.
I mean,
it was smart writing.
What do you do with someone that you can't pierce their skin? You are a better fighter than them, hands down. You paralyze them and dump them into a river.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I'm really glad.
They did that in the comics.
They do. They find all those creative things all the time in the comics, and this show clearly read stuff, which I loved. And I'm glad we're gonna save. I like the idea of saving 10, 11, 12, 13 for another episode so we can dive in because the end of this series was so surprising.
Oh, right.
in
And I was
fact,
really
let's
impressed.
not even talk about it.
So for the now, we'll talk about the middle, and the middle really escalated. It really dove into the backstory of Bushmaster, which I love that character. And I really think that they learned lessons where now I'm excited for. I mean, I was already excited for Daredevil season 3, but now I'm actually excited for Iron Fist season 2 because of episode 10 and because of them going like, we read the internet and we read comics.
You know what I really enjoyed about this is that I like that they took the lessons from season 1 and instead of primarily focusing on Luke Cage, they focused more on the human element of things with like Misty Knight and the dynamics with her being a handy-capable person in a precinct, you know, and having to deal with that, and then also having the superpowered individuals, and then going into their backstories.
Right.
I thought it was a really great balance of things that they did, especially from what are we doing, 7 to 10?
Yeah.
So I think that they really nailed that for me.
That was something that kind of bugged me in the first few episodes that I could not get into it, because like a lot of the jokes that they were making in the precinct about her not having an arm, I was like, that's not how New York cops work.
Yeah,
like
that
what's
would not
going on?
make
Like
sense.
why?
It was very
like,
crass.
How many times are we gonna make a need a hand joke? I was like, what are we doing, writers? And then like it.
On the other
got
side,
better.
a character from the first season that I thought was poorly written got incredible this season. I love Shades. Theo Rossi.
So good.
Theo
I like
Rossi.
Shariah.
Like-
I was
Yeah, that was
I wanted
like,
that to work.
I was just
know,
so
right?
impressed with the both of them, like in their relations, and them both
They
like
deal
playing
with
chess
so
at each
many
other.
themes with that, like with other people, you know, speaking about their age and
Yeah.
like the age difference. Like you wouldn't even be talking about that if it was the other way around. So it's like I love that that was addressed too.
And I love that he became like a power player, because in the first season you're like, why isn't he doing more? And they even address that in this season. And then like the way she plays him and he plays her as the season goes on, it's like a chessboard of like villainy. I really like Theo Rossi this
And they
season.
even dealt with the relationship between Comanche and Shades.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm glad that they went there.
And there was a cool thing they did at the end of the season we'll talk about next week.
yes,
Because I was impressed.
But we're not going to
I'm
talk
surprised.
about it now.
Nah.
Any quick last thoughts on Luke Cage?
Yeah, I love that a lot of Marvel properties are just getting better and better and
Yeah.
better, and they're listening to the fans. They're reading comics. I'm just so glad to be a Marvel fan.
there you
I'm just
go.
so happy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, thoughts on Tilda?
Tilda. Oh, Tilda.
yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
The
Surprising.
daughter with the magic hands.
Oh yeah.
Who,
She made herbs.
oh god, it's the name of the character is escaping me right now, but she's a character in Luke Cage. Not only Luke Cage, but I think she's in Black Panther too. She's not Malice. It's a different character that's also a poisoner. So like Tilda is an actual like
Okay.
she's from
she's
the
around.
comics, and I cannot remember the character name right now because I'm like, oh god, we have to.
I was thinking
wrap soon.
Tildy, so I was like, who's Tilda? Oh, Tildy. I was.
can't. Chat room. Do you know off the
Nightshade, they're saying.
Nightshade.
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
and that was
Of
said
course.
117 times.
Yeah.
Nightshade.
So next week we'll do the finale. We'll cover the end of the series, which was I thought, incredible and really bold. And then quick shout-outs.
Yes. Steamed Yams at Marvel Kinks. Max Russell at Max Russell 66. Shane Pickett at DadRad4. Justin Gilmore at J Gil Yoda 900. Anthony Jensen at Jensen Artwork. Richard Russo at Danger Russo 22. Charles Lee at Goofy Fan _Chuck. Jocelyn at Bad Wolf Bay 10. Peter Newton at Art Beatnik with an E. Brian Trotter at 40 Some Geek. Elangi Rosario at Elangi _R. And Langley M. Neely, feel better.
Feel better, Langley.
Feel better.
We know that you're in the hospital. You haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know if you watch a spoiler portion
Don't
of
not
this.
watch that.
But no, feel better. And then we also have a sexy birthday shout out.
Gamer
to
Girl.
Gamer Girl.
So Gamer Girl.
Yeah, someone clue me in. I'm hearing a lot of keywords here that I don't know how to respond to.
We do this thing that's really embarrassing and highly uncomfortable.
I do embarrassing well.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Gamer Girl is a longtime Marvelite. And
So we're gonna do a sexy birthday shout out. Aunt Anthony is probably
he's queuing up some magic. Some sultry, sultry tunes.
Sexy music. There it is.
Oh, a sax tribute.
And her
So-
birthday is going to be on Thursday.
So,
So-
Gamer Girl, you were born late July
Oh, baby.
in the heat of summer.
Well, I like everything that's happening in my ears right now. This isn't for her. This is for me.
That heat never stopped.
Oh, you are all the heat, baby, wrapped up in a heat package.
Got you sweating.
You're in Southern California right now.
Gamer girl.
All that heat, it's because of you.
100 degrees plus.
119 for your birthday.
You got me sweating.
We're all sweating it out for your birthday.
But also, definitely drink a lot of liquids and stay hydrated.
Oh, please hydrate,
No,
Gamer
you need to
Girl.
hail hydrate.
And I'm just saying that you can play games with me anytime.
Avoid that heat stroke.
Happy birthday, Gamer Girl. Hydrate.
Yay! Happy birthday.
And I'm going to be talking like this for the rest of the day. Happy birthday to me too now.
Keeping in mind, Sexy emergency birthday shout-outs only go out to people 18 years of age and older.
Yeah, disclaimer for the internet. I feel uncomfortable. So, happy birthday, Gamer Girl. And I want to thank everyone for enjoying the Luke Cage and Ant-Man with us online. I love people that reach out after they've liked stuff. That's always cool to like share that experience with the world.
Yes,
It's always
we love
really
when
cool.
you interact with us on Twitter and Instagram. It's awesome.
So I believe that is it for the week. Where can they find you on the internet? Start with Marquia.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marquia McCarty. That's MarkeiaMcCarty. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con, and there will be a number of fan meetups for the different networks that I'm a part of. I will be doing stuff with Skybound. I will be doing stuff with Nerdist. I will put this out on Twitter. I am definitely part of the Most Dangerous Women of Comic-Con panel, which will be on Saturday at 10 a.m. That is in the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina. Grand Rooms 1 and 2. So, it's a small panel, and I'm going to talk about what it is to be dangerous. So, I hope to see you there. And then also, every Monday, 10 Candles.
She's looking at me, because I'm going to be on it soon.
6 p.m. PT on Hyper RPG. Hope to see you and you
It's
there.
happening. It's happening. That's a tease right there.
And Miss Amy.
Well, I have to give a quick shout out to Langley. His last comment made me laugh. My eardrums are getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So-
Good thing you're in the hospital. You're ready.
You guys
Yes.
got child support now.
But you guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ. I do a lot of shows on Popcorn Talk and AfterBuzz TV, as well as Geek Bomb. So feel free to follow us and join us there. Geek out with us. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con as well. Don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing a lot of stuff.
Good, sir.
Thank you guys so much for letting me come here and rant and rant and rant. I am The Jovenshire. You can find me on youtube.com/The Jovenshire. Instagram is at The Jovenshire. Same thing on Twitter. I do geeky stuff. Come hang out. Let's talk.
I've been Corey Jondry. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, I've got a channel about reviewing stuff. Twitter, I love talking to you guys. I host Arena Trivia a lot of days, multiple games. I will be down at San Diego Comic-Con, and I am on Thursday doing a movie fight in the third biggest room in Comic-Con. It is 2,300 seats, so come fill those. 2,300 and what? And I want to schedule, we'll do a meetup. We're going to plan like a meetup for San Diego.
Collider Heroes doing a meetup. We might as well
Let's do a
piggyback
Marvel
on
meetup.
that and do a Marvel meetup.
So we will
at the
organize
same
that.
time.
Marquis and I will talk about it. We'll plan a
Yes.
time, and we'll send that out to you Marvelites, and we'll have it all tweeted and stuff. So we will see you at San Diego, and we'll see you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.